Welcome to the Zesty Ginger Podcast. We are Megan and Dr. Alex. We are here for transformation. Yours, ours, and the collective. Personal and professional for practitioners. But not just any transformation. Compassionate transformation. Because between the two of us, we have seemed to have done things the painful way. Let our pitfalls become your stepping stones. We aren't afraid to share our raw and vulnerable truths in order to help you transform your thinking, your body, your heart, and your soul. Combining 15 years of functional medicine with brain-based habit change to lead you to the best life possible in a compassionate way. Compassion, yes, yet plan to roll up your sleeves. Transformation requires your participation. And a quick reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your doctor, not this doctor, before making changes. Now let's get into the episode. Hi there, this is Dr. Alex here with you. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be talking about rest versus restoration today. Because after the holidays and with all the chats that I'm having with the ladies that we work with, there's a lot of stuff coming up around this, and there's a lot of clarity and aha moments that people are having, and I figured no time like the present to talk about it on the podcast as well. And that is because rest and restoration to me are actually two different things. But oftentimes people are talking about both when they just use the word rest. And the lack of clarity and sort of details around that is what makes it more confusing than what it should be. Because most of us understand that we need to rest. Many of us have experienced burnout and overworking and gripping too hard and trying to control and force life to be whatever it is. And we've done that already, right? We kind of got the memo that that's not the only way to do it. And at the same time, many of us are still in the place where we're figuring out what it looks like to truly live from that place of really honoring rest and restoration and knowing how much of it we need, when we need to say no to things, when we say yes to things, when we push through, when we don't push through. All of those details are where many of us are living and figuring things out. That's kind of the lessons that we're in. And clarity, and even clarity within language, the language that we use to describe things, then really matters. Because if our language determines how we feel about something, the emotions that flow out of a thought or as a result of a thought, then the words that make up that thought must matter, right? And you can do that by thinking, you can check me on saying that by thinking a thought and seeing how you feel, thinking a completely different thought to that and comparing how you feel there. Now, if both thoughts resulted in the same emotion, then of course it's the same. But if you thought, I'm a piece of crap on one and I am a beautiful butterfly on the other, you will feel differently within the emotional compass as long as you have been, using it and are aware of it. So, with that, I want to make the distinction in rest and restoration. So what really is it? Many people are talking about not only resting, as in not using energy, and then restoration, which is gaining energy back that was depleted, right? And those two things are different because those rest then if we are not using our energy, and restoration, which is gaining energy, the actions that then make that up for each of us will then be customized to what we define each of those as. So rest and what it actually looks like will be different for each of us, but the spirit of rest, like the meaning of rest, will stay the same. Resting is not expending more energy. And that can look like sleep, That can look like being in the bathtub. That can look like just laying on the couch and laying with your eyes closed. Rest can be sitting in the car in the driveway before walking into the house, right? So that's not spending energy. Restoration is the gaining and cultivating energy within ourselves. Sometimes for people, like I'm saying, it's individual. Sometimes the things that I call rest are things that people call restoration. But in general, things that bring around restoration, people say things like eating healthy, right? Eating in a way that feels nourishing to the mind, the body, and the spirit. Working out, even though you may spend energy to work out, you feel more energized after you reclaimed it, right? As long as you're having a good workout experience. Or the having lunch with a friend, you're expending energy, but you are gaining energy, excitement, passion, fun through the conversations that you're having there. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's weeding in the garden, right? Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it is even working on something that feels so clearly to light you up and feels so good that that work, and I'm doing quotations, is actually kind of repleting and restoring your energy reserves because of how much you love it. So I hope that you're hearing how big of a variety we have when it comes to both rest and restoration, because we can do both. We can either choose to truly rest, or we can choose activities that restore. Either way, it's getting us to a better place, which is having good energy reserves to do what we want to do in life, and to have the personal power to create and manifest within our world the things that we say that we want, and to actually follow that through to reality popping out exactly the way that you said, right? It's not just the starting of the manifestation, but the actual finishing end result in your physical world. So if we hope to have the personal power to create that and to have the energy reserves to truly build those things and translate them into reality, then understanding what rest and restoration means to us and having many ways to cultivate that within ourselves becomes a really key component to creating what we want. There becomes less of a focus on just work, and then when I rest I feel guilty, or if when I rest I worry that I'm not making money, or when I rest I worry that I'm losing skills. It becomes all cohesive. Yes, I need to work, but I also need to have the personal power, which means I need to do the things in my life that build and create and maintain those reserves the way that I need them. And I will know that based off what's happening in my life. Is there motion towards where I want to go or not? And of course, it can be tempting to start to do that analysis and get really in our heads and begin to loop into worry and anxiety about how good we're doing it and feeling guilt and shame. So I'm just going to remind you, we've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to go into it again, but I'm just going to remind you, set that aside, because this is all about what you're going to take action. What does rest look like for you? What does restoration? And then just doing those things. Even when we feel the guilt, even when we feel the shame, saying, I will move through that and I will show myself evidence of who I really am, because this fear and this guilt and this shame is not the definition of who I am. There is more to me than this, and I will prove that to myself by taking the clarity and applying it. And then I will see myself standing at the helm of my life, feeling empowered in it. I hope this is all making a whole lot of sense and creating some light bulb moments about how not different rest, restoration, and work actually are, right? If they are just simply two sides of the same coin, then a lot of the narratives and the stories that we create around work and productivity and all of that can then be relaxed, and we can kind of let those things go. Not in a forceful way, but we just sort of let them fall to the wayside as we move more intentionally into this more balanced, whole, feel good approach to, I actually give myself what I need, which means that I spend energy, I cultivate it, and I also give myself times where I'm not expending any. And all of that supports me. At any given time, I can use that as a toolkit, and I feel good doing it. So that is the goal. I would love to hear what you think about this. As always, reach out to us in our DMs on Instagram, and shoot us an email. It's support@zestyginger.com. And of course, don't forget about our sponsors going on right now. Organifi, that is ORGANIFI, Organifi. And the link and the code to the products, which I love, are in the show notes. So go check those out, and you'll hear more coming up on that in the coming weeks. All right, I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for coming out to hang with us on the podcast. It is our goal to transform the way women are treated in healthcare. And we need your help. We need your help to get the word out. We have a lofty goal of 1 million downloads. And we know that as this podcast grows, we're going to be able to reach more women, get more amazing speakers for you, and bring the most cutting-edge information.
If you found these podclasses helpful, please take a moment to text 5 women you know the link to the series. We appreciate your help so much. Can't wait to see you next time.